with an update on what's happened with Aaron and also...
Come on, mate, I thought we were talking about the game. Yeah, the club released an update today, so he's had a hiccup in his rehabilitation with his hamstring. We're not sure to what extent, but we need further investigations with a specialist who did Josh Mellington, he did Nick Rewalt, which is Julian Fella, and the initial injury was consulted with him, so we'll go back consult and get a plan from there.
How did this hiccup occur? Was it training? Was it just in the gym? Was it, yeah? Yeah,
really, I think it's just been a graduated onset, really, so no specific incident.
It's generally...
Zach Clark, Ross?
Hey?
Zach Clark?
Are we finished with that one?
No, well, I just wanted to say, like, on Sandilands still, is it? I mean, going to Melbourne, it's a pretty big, reason to be concerned. How concerned are you, and when do you think he'll be coming back?
I wouldn't read too much into it. He needs to see the specialist. We had contact originally, so he's the expert in the area. And we'll just know they are, so we just send him to where is appropriate.
No, Zach Clark, do you know how he's
Yeah,
treated?
look, I was really worried at training. I think all you guys were there. I thought he might have looked like he'd done an Achilles or a big calf, and so we weren't sure. But the investigations had the MRI sort of on 7 last night. The results had come through, and just the plantaris that you don't really need. So torn through, we were really relieved. So we thought we'd lost the player for the year, and he's still a good chance to play this week.
What other options are you considering outside of him?
Yeah, the obvious ones, which is Kepler Bradley, Tanner Smith, Jack Hanneth are the obvious guys, unless we have played some games where we have gone smaller, but they're the obvious ones.
So you would consider playing Tanner Smith as backup ruckman?
No, well, we know Michael Johnson can ruck, do you know what I mean? But so it's Jack Hanneth, Kepler Bradley, Tanner Smith. All depends how much run you want, but...
John, test for your midfield depth, with obviously no Nat Nui, no Kerr, no Wellingham, no Rosa.
Yeah, there's those names are all obviously part of our midfield, but we haven't had them for the whole pre-season really. So the guys who are in there have done all the work, and looking forward to that challenge.
Are any of the newer guys, maybe Jamie Cripps or someone like that, in contention to play on?
Yeah, he's had a good pre-season, so he's definitely in contention.
What have you liked about Cripps this pre-season?
Pretty much what we knew about him. He can run and uses the ball pretty well. He's still only young, so another good pre-season is going to help him with his football going forward.
What about your pre-season as a whole? Are you 1 win out of 4? What do you take out of that? And I guess you don't look at the wins, but what do you see out of your pre-season?
Just workloads basically. Your pre-season is what it is, which is prepared for the season. So we've done the work, and we think we're ready to go.
Kerr and Natanui were initially in the frame for round 1. Have they suffered any setbacks to push that back line up through?
No, not really. It's about precaution and overall preparing them so that we don't rush them back in and they get through this week and then pull up sore and can't play for another 2 or 3. That's always a risk with players who miss a lot of pre-season. We did it with Kennedy last year. We got away with it for 5 weeks and then he got a bad ankle injury, and you just always wonder whether that's related to the extra fatigue they build up more quickly. So we've got a program in place for those guys, and we could rush them back into the side quicker, or we can just try and get more training under their belt. We've chosen to go that way.
Will they need a hit out in the waffle before they're back in AFL ranks?
And that will depend on how much training they get in. If this time of year now you don't train as much, it's harder for them to get match simulation type training in, so that may be the case.
How is Kerr's fitness? If his body wasn't injured, would he be ready to play now?
Well, yeah, he would if he wasn't injured. He's pretty happy with the way he's tracking. Yeah.
No, but my question is, we saw some pictures of him, obviously, very exhausted on the training track. Is his fitness level at the level he normally has it?
Yeah, I think what you'd find is that even if you watch Chris Marston run his 2K time trial for 6 minutes, he doubles over at the end of that run. Doesn't mean he's not fit. means they push themselves to the limit. So Curry's tracking on really well.
John, does Andrew Embley's preparation have any influence on how you use him? Like, would you consider playing Andrew Embley just as your substitute this week because of his lack of match preparation?
We would consider it. Yeah, absolutely. You consider we've got to pick 22, and out of that 22, one player's going to be the sub. Embers is in really good shape, so his hammy was only a really minor hiccup, and that I think he didn't play that weekend, but he's back in full training the following week. So yeah, he's had a good pre-season other than just missing the games.
So you'd have no doubt that if he had to start in the starting 21 and someone else got injured, he could get through 4 quarters in a Western Derby.
Yeah, I think he could easily play 4 quarters. I'm sure he would be feeling the pinch in the last quarter, but that would be the same with a lot of players. Often he's going into round 1 because you're playing 120 minutes when most you probably had as a hit-outs 100 maximum in your pre-season games.
No Nat Nui, and obviously Quentin Lynch not there anymore to be that sort of backup ruck forward. Would you consider playing Callum Sinclair? Is he in the frame for the Derby?
His form's been outstanding in his practice games with Subiaco, and his form with us was really impressive. So he moves well. He certainly can play forward. He played mainly forward for Subi last year, but they're all things that are in the mix of looking what sort of lineup you want to go with.
Are you likely to promote anyone onto the main list with Nikoski?
Only if they're a big chance of playing this week.
Question for both of you. What's your thoughts on the concussion sub? Do you welcome the 20 minutes leeway?
In regards to...
Well, the 20
what
minutes
do you mean
leeway.
by stuff?
Pardon?
What do you mean by the stuff?
No, the sub, the concussion sub that the AFL's brought
The new
in.
rule?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's
Do
a
you
good thing. It takes pressures off doctors. Player welfare is absolute priority and paramount, and I think common sense has prevailed, and the ability to activate the sub for that 20-minute period again takes pressure off the other athletes. So I think it's a win-win all round.
And same with you, John?
Yeah, very common sense. Adjustment to that sub rule to make it easier for everyone.
Ross, it's a pretty new venue here. Do you want to keep building sort of Fremantle feel around your club strongly? New venue for a presser and pretty iconic down here in Fremantle.
It's beautiful, isn't it? Steeped in history. Yeah.
We've got a good view.
Lovely view. Look, change as good as a holiday, isn't it? It was really. Yeah, it's a home derby. It's Fremantle, but we reciprocate quite well. We've got the SAS breakfast tomorrow, which West Coast is really right behind. We're really supportive of that, so we're just working together to promote the game and Western Australian football.
Do you have any memory of achievement here and what you were doing at the time, or at this?
I certainly wasn't on it. No, not particularly. No, it was a watershed moment in Australian sport, wasn't it? So, quite elite sailing. There's sort of not too many beaches where I'm from, but yeah, that's okay.
Where were you when this happened?
Well, I was around. The bigger thing was when we held it here was the Eagles had just been formed, 1986. My memories of that was when the Cup was actually held in Perth. It was a pretty good time. My hometown, and a lot of my new mates at West Coast came down to Freo a fair bit to knock us out on all the celebrations down there.
How strongly do you look back at your Fremantle heritage? Because obviously it's pretty strong for you down this way.
Yeah, well, my whole childhood really and into early adulthood was based down here. I started Stocksy on the way and did my work experience at the Fremantle Port Authority across the road in year 10. It was a pretty tough couple of weeks. So I have a lot of places around the area.
So would you like your opposition here one day to achieve the ultimate in footy?
Put me on the pump there, mate, but really the best team wins the Premiership review, and they thoroughly deserve it. And I think I always envious of any team that gets up and wins it, but you also are totally aware of the hard work that goes into it. So I'd be wrapped.
Ross, can you just take us through John Griffin's development over the past couple of years, and especially the times when Sandilands has been out?
Yeah, he was targeted to the club before I arrived. So since I walked in the door, it's really hard work. He had some injury concerns, just really minor, but he grabbed his opportunity last year, and to the point where he kept Aaron out of the team because he was playing good football. So he's had a really strong summer, conditioned really well, played lots of minutes, and we're really confident his capabilities to compete at AFL level and carry the mantle of being a number one ruckman, if you like.
He's always been in the shadow of Sandilands, so is he a tad underrated in a way outside of the club?
Well, probably. I sort of don't worry about that too much. I just think, look, Aaron's an elite ruckman. We all understand that. So, Dean Cox is the same. His understudies, will always be in the shadows a little bit. But at the end of the day, you get your opportunity, you take them, and he's really excited at the moment to be going into the Derby. But we've got one more training session to get through. So. Always the pessimist. We'll wait until we get them their game day fit and healthy. So, yeah.
If you had to pick someone like Jack Hanneth-Ross, what's your confidence in him at the moment, and what's he shown you over the pre-season?
Look, he's raw. We understand that. But he's played senior football. He's whacked on a few kilos, so he's 201 and 100 kilos. Really good athlete. Like runs a 10, 3K. So he can really cover the ground. Which if he was playing the weekend, he'd need to be able to handle Dean's spread, so but he would be raw. We understand he's a long-term project, but he can certainly hold an end up.
And Kepler, just that versatility, sort of being able to play a bit in the ruck and a bit forward if you went that way.
You've nailed it. He's versatile. He's got great ground level. He's a really strong competitor. Played in the last Derby. Played well. And can play back a little bit now, so he gives us versatility, and he's really well conditioned, had a big summer. So, but at 27, you want to be bringing all those things to the table, or opportunities dry up pretty quick.
And you've probably had, I guess you've had two looks at Tanner Smith playing at Peel over the last 2 weeks. How's he gone, and how far away is he, do you think?
I only saw him the one down at Mandurah. I watched East Fremantle take Swan Districts on. Very entertaining game, so that was good. Look, he's a beast. Enormous endurance, big boy, 196. He's adapted to the environment really quickly. He's a beast in that. He's going to be a big boy, and we're excited to have him. And we would know he can come in and handle the run, and he can compete. So, but again, he's raw. It's a big step, but in a short period, he's earned some respect.
Is there a difference in both of you? Is there a difference in the tempo in the Derby from what you've seen? And if that is the case, does it make any difference playing it in round one when you're coming off the pre-season and not fully match hardened?
I don't think there's anything noticeable, no. Other than the type of game you'd expect with two teams that are pretty talented teams going at it. So we play Hawthorn in round two. I wouldn't expect that that game would have any difference to this game coming up.
I'd be disappointed if our players were to give more because we're playing the Eagles than we would any other AFL team. So I think the difference is the spotlight, the press is bigger, there's a bit more media with both teams in, so the spotlight's squarely on you, there's nowhere to hide. I think that's the difference for me, so the whole town's involved rather than half the town for we're playing someone else. So yeah, it's important to play well when it's home derby. It's important to play well in any derby, but obviously our home fans, our home derby, round one, everyone tries to get the win on the board, momentum to go into the season. And with regards to the bye, I don't think it's really relevant. You take it when it comes, but in a perfect world, you'd like to keep going, personally. But it is what it is, so we don't need it, but we'll have to take it.
Nice for the Derby to be on the national stage, I guess, being a standalone fixture on the Saturday, no games in Melbourne.
Yeah, well, as I said, that's part of the spotlight we're talking about. The football world tunes in, but we'll watch all go. Like, personally, I'll get on and you'll be curious to Adelaide, Essendon, and take a real interest of how teams are performing early. So yeah, it's good to be on the spotlight.
Would you need one of either Sinclair or Lysett to come in to help Cox out, or can Cox go it alone?
Cox has shown the ability to be able to ruck games out, no worries at all, but we'll bring one of those guys in.
Do you have a favourite at the moment, or have you decided and you're just not letting us know? Or
yeah.
Can you let us know?
Not right now. I'm a little like Ross. We've got a training session to get through yet, and even little things at the club that people are saying Can we get this going and say you've got to hold off, we're going to get through the training session yet and sign players off before we can release anyone?